All right, everyone, we'll go ahead and get started here. I want to welcome everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Christy Harrington, and I'm the Senior Director of Marketing here at PestRoutes. I want to thank you all for your time today to join us for Old School Method, New School Tech, Revolutionize Your Pest Control Business with an Internet Phone System. We have a great guest presenting today, Raymond Kidwell. He works for our partner, Voice for Pest. During his presentation today, we're going to be asking you all for some responses to some polling questions that you can participate in with us to help keep the presentation lively and interactive. So they're going to pop right up on your screen for you to enter your answer. So before we get started, though, I'll give you a little bit of background on Raymond. Raymond Kidwell is a 32-year veteran and fixture of the pest control industry. He began his professional life as a sales representative with True Green Lawn Care and then moved to Orkin Pest Control a year later, where he worked his way up to branch manager. The majority of Kidwell's career, 23 years, was spent with McCall Service Incorporated, a pest management solutions provider in the southeastern U.S. He again started his tenure as a sales representative and ultimately ascended to the position of Vice President of Administration. Today, he is the Director of Business Development of Voice for Pest, the only phone system specifically designed for the pest management industry. Kidwell is a former chairman of the Copasan Technology Advancement Committee, as well as a former member of the NPMA Technology Committee. He also served the Florida Pest Management Association in a variety of roles, including regional director and chairman of both the education and behind the scenes committees. He enjoys spending time with his cats, his fiance, and 5 grown children, though not necessarily in that order. Right, Raymond?
Yeah, my cats made me write that.
Darn cats. Well, I'll go ahead and turn it on over to you this morning. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Christy. Very excited to be here. Let me get my screen going. And here we go. Thank you for having us, and thank you to everybody that's joining us today. We're excited to talk about old school method, new school tech. Revolutionize your pest control business with an internet phone system. And let me click, there we go. So we got our old school and our new school. So I guess the first thing we're going to start with is, what is an internet phone system? And I'm sure a lot of you probably already know this answer, but really the technical term is a VoIP system, voice over internet protocol, which is the fancy way of saying that the old phone systems, landlines, use wires. They actually have physical switches to move calls around. And internet phone systems use the internet, and the calls are transferred to a digital call within the device, whether it's a computer or the phone. So the calls go through the internet instead of through wires and lines and switches and public switching stations, things like that. Another thing is there's a lot of terminology floating around. So you have what's called a VoIP system, which is actually the exact same thing as an internet phone system, which is exactly the same thing as a cloud-based phone system. So they're all the same. They all work the same. Now, this is your old school phone closet. I know I had one where I worked for many, many years. You might still have either an existing active one or an old one. But just like a lot of things over the last several years, technology has changed. So all of that is basically now replaced with this. So that's your internet phone system on the right and your old school low tech phone system on the left. This is some common features that most internet phone systems share. Virtual receptionist gives you the ability to have an auto attendant, where they can press options and do all those wonderful things. Automated call forwarding. So, that's one of the big benefits of an internet phone system with remote workers and COVID is the ability to have people get calls no matter where they're at. They don't have to be inside the same building like in the old days. Another very big feature. Voicemail to email. So somebody leaves you a voicemail, you get an email and the voicemail's attached. Now with our phone system, the voicemail is actually transcribed. So you can actually read the message in the email, which is really nice, especially when you come in like on a Monday morning and you got a bunch of voicemails to listen to. You don't have to sit there and listen to all these messages and you get people say, hey, give me a call back, right? You can just read the email, much easier, much faster. 3-digit dialing. A lot easier to communicate internally because you can just dial extensions instead of having to dial, direct numbers all the time. And also overall, internet phone systems cost less. They're a lower overall cost, much easier to install because you're really not installing much. And they're just overall lower cost option. So having said all those common things, who are we, Voice for Pest, and why are we here? Oh, we have a polling question. Do you currently use an internet phone system? Need some Jeopardy music. Okay. All right, look at that. Wow, well, I'm pretty close. 59% yes, 41% no. Fantastic. That's good to know. So about half and half. So who are we and why are we here? So we're going to talk a little bit about, polling question. There we go. About us first. We have offices and data centers on both coasts. Our main office is in Edison, New Jersey. We have an office in Southern California, the LA area. And we also have data centers on both coasts, which is important because it allows us to have true dual redundancy. We can switch servers back and forth. We can do updates, things like that without anybody being affected. Our current staff is at about 60 and growing. And like most of you, I know we're actively looking for good people right now. We, as a result of COVID, actually adopted a remote workplace policy where we will hire pretty much anybody anywhere. And so we now have employees in Vegas and Northern California and Georgia. I'm in Florida because with the remote capabilities, it just broadens our horizons as far as employee pools. We have customers in all 50 states. And I guess we're actually an international company because we have customers in Canada as well. And we have our solutions in over 1,000 pest control offices across the country. And one reason for that is, as Christy had mentioned, we offer the only phone system designed specifically for the pest control industry. And I think more importantly, we're the only phone system that's active in the industry. We're active in the MPMA. We're in several state and local associations. We attend region meetings. We support the industry. We're at trade shows. We're there. We know who you are, and we know what we can do to help you be more successful. Another thing that kind of separates us from the pack is I like to call our unparalleled support and training. We have live answer US support, 8 to 8 Eastern. A lot of your large, huge phone companies, they tier their support based on the size of the customer. If you have less than a certain number of extensions, they send you to overseas support. So we never send you overseas, but since most of our support techs are out of New Jersey, sometimes there is a language barrier, but we can usually get through it. We have 24/7 emergency support. You don't need emergency support too often, but it's good to know when you do. We're there and we've got you covered. We have all of our training is recorded. It's available online 24/7, very easy to onboard new employees or new customers. We also have about 10 FAQ videos. Our system is very easy to use and manage. And we have these videos that show you exactly how to do things like, let's say you have an employee that leaves, You hire a new employee, you just need to rename an extension. Instead of going, doing a support request and all that, you can go in and quite literally in 30 seconds, make that change yourself. We also have daily live training at 1 p.m. every day, Eastern, Monday through Friday. We rotate the training topics. So it's very easy, again, to bring in new employees. Also, bring on new customers. The training's always available, but we also have live training so you can get, feedback and answer questions. So one of the things that has kind of happened, as everybody knows, is a technology shift. And there's a lot of ways people can get a hold of you now. They can text you. They can web chat you. These are your customers or your prospects. They can fill out web forms. They can send you emails through social media. They can contact you through social media. So you have all this new technology allowing people to communicate with us in ways they could never communicate with us before. But the reality is, in the pest control business, still about 92% of pest control business communications still occur over the phone. Because if you think about it, ultimately, at some point in your relationship with your customer, you pretty much have to talk to them on the phone. Not every single time, but the vast majority of time, at some point, you or your technician or somebody's going to have to speak to that customer on the phone. So phone systems are very important to the pest control business. And we're going to talk a little bit about how an internet phone system can help your business perform better. Everybody has some type of phone system, whether it's an old-fashioned system bolted to the wall, whether it's an internet system, as we saw. I think it was 59% of you do. Some of you just have cell phones that are kind of crisscrossing calls back and forth. And just like the pest control business, where you buy kind of the same products from the same vendors, right? You buy kind of the same equipment. Well, phone systems, internet phone systems, there's a lot of similarity. A lot of the phones are the same phones from system to system. They just stick a name on them, right? So, you have a lot of commonality in the internet phone system business, just like you do in the pest control business. So that begs the question, what makes us, Voice for Pests, different or better? So I'm just going to ask you a few questions to get you thinking about a few things, and then we'll talk about really, what makes us different, what makes us better. So what if you could tell if someone calling you, your company, is a customer or not before the phone even rings? And if you could tell that, would there be some benefit to that? Would there be a way that you could maybe make that helpful to you, right? Another question, do you think there's any value in your employee being able to greet a customer by name instead of asking for an account number or address? So I'm a customer calling you, and I call in and they say, hello, thank you for calling Acme Pest Control. And I said, yes, my name is Raymond. I have ants in my underwear drawer. And they say, what's your account number? What's your address? How do you spell your last name? Imagine if I made that phone call and I said, my name is Raymond, and they answer the phone and say, hello, thank you for calling Acme Pest Control. How are you doing today, Mr. Kidwell? It's great to hear from you again. How can I help you? Right? Think of the customer experience that you could have with that kind of a feature. Another one. Would it make your employees more efficient and productive if they can click the phone number in PestRoutes to call a customer instead of dialing the number? You probably have employees that are calling customers a lot throughout the day. And if you think about it, it's not a lot of time to dial, but when you add that up, it's quite a bit of time. And then also you can eliminate misdialed numbers because they're just clicking a button, right? Another question. Have you ever had somebody call you and say, hey, I called a month ago to cancel and you guys came out today and did my service anyway, and I'm not paying you? Or I called and that lady I spoke to said I wouldn't have to pay for this service. Or I talked to that Raymond guy and he was mean and horrible, right? So considering that, how easy would it be and how wonderful would it be to be able to just go right into that customer's account in PestRoutes, right into the notes, click a button and listen to that phone call and verify what the customer said and have all that information at your fingertips, very easy to access. So those are some features that we want to think about. So one of the things that makes us different and better is our integration with PestRoutes. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So our primary features, and I'm going to go into detail after this, is intelligent call routing, screen pop, click to call, and auto note with call recording. So we're going to talk about intelligent call routing first. So intelligent call routing, because of our integration, we can actually look into the PestRoutes database. So before the phone even rings, we can look into the PestRoutes database and match that number and identify whether that is a number in your PestRoutes database, a customer or not. And since we have that knowledge, we can then route those calls differently, right? So, and if you think about it, how can you maximize your ability to capture new business by routing calls differently? So is it good to treat your customers differently than your prospects? Well, we think so, sure. A customer's probably not going to hang up and cancel if you make them wait 60 seconds, right? They understand that you're busy, and most of the times customers are pretty reasonable people. So if you have your calls going to a separate group just for customers, you can extend their hold time. You can offer them callback from queue, which is included in our system. They can save their place in line. They can hang up, go about, do their business. And when you have an agent that's available, they can be automatically connected. You can also have different messages on hold or music on hold for those different groups. So imagine your customer callers hear a different message, maybe, hey, sign up for auto pay. Or if you have our pest control service, you get a discount for our termite service. Then you have your other group of callers that are non-customers. You can treat them differently. You can shorten their hold time. You can overflow their calls after a certain period of time. Because a lot of times they're going to wait maybe 45 seconds. They hang up, they call the next person in their queue on their Google search, right? So you can overflow those calls directly to your field employees, maybe your salespeople, other people in your office, or if you have an answering service. So you can treat those two groups differently. Another thing you can do is you can direct those prospect calls, to the people in your office that are the best to handle them. Because everybody has people that are better at some things than others, and some people are just better at selling over the phone or better at setting appointments. So why not give those people the first crack at those prospect calls? So that's kind of the idea behind intelligent call routing. It's included in the PestRoutes integration. The next feature we're going to talk about is the screen pop. So the screen pop, when a call is received, a notification pops up within PestRoutes showing you the caller information. So your employee knows whether that's a customer or not. If it's a customer, they know who they are. They also know what services they have. And they also have direct access, one click right into the account. If it's not a customer, they have the caller ID information. Typically, you'll have a name and a phone number. But more importantly, they know it's not a customer. So they know how to handle that call, right? And then they can also click right in, add a lead, add an account. Which I talked a little bit ahead of my slide, which I do sometimes. So I'm going to just keep on moving. You can increase employee productivity and provide a great customer experience. Like I mentioned earlier, you can greet your customers by name, and that really blows people away. So here's an image of the screen pop. As you can see, the pop comes up. You know who the customer is. You have their general information. You can click right into what you need to do, much more efficient, much faster. It just provides a great experience and also makes your employees a lot more efficient and productive. On the click to call, we mentioned this earlier. With click to call, you can call your customers just by simply clicking the phone number in PestRoutes. You increase your employee productivity, and you also eliminate misdialed numbers. And then here's an image again, right there. You see the little blue phone. You click it, and the call makes out. And the way it actually works is when you click the number, it actually calls your phone extension. You answer the phone, and then it makes the outbound call because you have to connect that number to the phone system. Very efficient and very quick. And then finally, the last integration feature we're going to talk specifically about is the auto note with call recording link. And a lot of our customers love this feature. So basically what happens is once a call is concluded, whether it's an outbound call to a customer or an inbound call from a customer, a note is automatically placed in the customer's account in PestRoutes. The note shows the number called, the time of the call, and also it contains a link to the call recording so that you can listen to the call at your leisure, at your convenience. And you can quickly and easily access the customer calls for training, coaching, verifying disputes. And that access is based on login credentials. So you control which employees can listen to the calls. Not everybody has the ability to do it because you have to log in with the username and password. So just to give you an idea of what the note looks like, you can see here, you've got the number that they called from, the number they called, what time they called. There's the link to the call recording. So you have all this information. And even if your employees aren't putting in notes, you'll always have a note. You'll always have a documented call. If somebody says, hey, I called you yesterday, you're going to know they did or not. You can run a report in the phone system, but you can go right to their account and see whether they called you or not. So it's another great integration feature. So that's kind of what makes us different and better. Well, those integration features really are a great benefit to a lot of our customers, our mutual customers at PestRoutes. Some of the other things is remote capabilities. So you have the ability to work from anywhere, and you have full access to the phone system, whether it's a soft phone using a computer as a phone, a desk phone, or even a mobile device like a cell phone or a tablet. Some of the benefits of remote workers, a lot of us had to send employees home because of COVID. A lot of people are back. But it's kind of been a societal shift with a lot of people working from home, and there's actually quite a few benefits to doing so. And according to the Global Workplace Analytics, a typical employer could save about $11,000 a year for every person who works remotely half of the time. So you can actually save money by having employees work remotely. And of course, it's a business decision that you'll make for your own company, whether you want people working remotely or not. But the benefit to having our internet phone system is you can have that, you can make that decision and be comfortable knowing that it's the right one for you. Like I mentioned earlier, it gives you a larger pool of potential employees if you have remote workers. There's less unscheduled time off because people have the flexibility to do things. And if people working from home or remotely or managed properly, they're generally more productive because they're happier. I've been working from home for 2 years, and I think it's great. And I would not want to have to get up and have to go to work and do all that stuff again if I didn't have to. So those are some of the benefits of the remote workplace. Some of the features of a phone system: log in from anywhere with almost any device. So as long as you have an active internet connection. Our desk phones are wireless. You can stick our desk phone in a suitcase, throw it on a plane, fly 2,000 miles across the country, connect it to the Wi-Fi somewhere else. Boom, you're in your phone system, making phone calls, receiving calls, just like you were if you're sitting in your office. And you don't need a desk phone. You can work from the computer. You can work from any mobile device. We also have a mobile app that's included with each extension, which is great for mobility. If you're somebody in your company that's in the office and out of the office and kind of back and forth, you can have your calls ring on multiple devices. So you can have your mobile app on your phone. You're sitting at your desk. You get up, you walk out. You don't have to change anything, log out, do anything. You get in your vehicle, log into the mobile app. The next call is going to ring on your phone. It's also a great emergency backup. If the internet goes down or the power goes out, you log in the mobile app on your cell phone and you have full functionality of the phone system, just as if you were logged into the computer or using a desk phone. And then complete management capabilities. Again, if we're talking about remote employees, the big scary thing is how do I manage them when I can't see them? And the reality is, though, a lot of times when you have employees in the same building, you're really not walking around staring at them anyway. You're busy doing things, walking around. And so quite often employees that are in the same building don't get as much scrutiny as remote employees because people don't think that they really need to watch them as much. So some of the ways to manage remote employees, we have real-time tracking of breaks and lunches. You can see in our system, you can see how long somebody's been on a break. You can also run these reports, have them automatically emailed to you or multiple people. Shows you, when they're logging in, when they're taking lunch, when they're taking their breaks, their hours they're available, different things like that. Also, some other reports you can track specific, how many calls they're taking, are they actually available all the time? And again, these reports can be automated, scheduled, sent to multiple people. So it really gives you the ability to manage remote employees and make sure they're as productive as possible. And we're going to talk about some of the advanced features of our phone system. We have mobile options for field employees. We have unified communications, phone, video, and texting. We have call tracking and analytics. And then we have call center functionality. So the first thing I want to talk about is our mobile option. So, we talked a lot about, listening to calls, recording calls. Wouldn't it be great if you knew what your field employees were saying to your customers, your technicians? Wouldn't it be great if you knew the conversations they were really having? Because I'm sure you've gotten calls on both sides from customers saying, Bobby said this, and Bobby said, that's not what I said, right? Well, the good news is we have that capability. So we have a product called Tech Mobile, which is unique to the industry. And it allows us to basically provide you your cellular, your wireless service. AT&T is the underlying carrier. So why would you want to do that? Well, let me explain why you want to do that. We can record all of the calls through the company cell phone. We can also capture all the text messages through the company cell phone. We can mask the caller ID. So if your technician calls a customer right now, they're probably seeing that individual cell phone number. We can have any number you want displayed as a caller ID, including your company number. So if a technician calls your customer, when the customer calls back, they're going through your office employees, your agents in the office, which a lot of companies like that, because then you don't get those calls from the customer saying, I talked to Bobby and he said he was going to come out and he never showed up. And you go in the system and there's nothing because Bobby just told the person that on a direct phone call and then forgot. So all of these capabilities are part of what we call our Tech Mobile solution. You also have extension dialing. So it basically brings your field employees into the phone system. You can communicate them with them directly, just like somebody sitting in a desk, in the other room. Also gives them the capability to have internal chat and video. They can be out in the field. They can do a video chat with their manager, show them what they're up against. How do I do this? Get some help. So all of this mobility brings it into the phone system and allows you to have one system for all of your phone needs and really have some great features for your field employees. We also have integrated video conferencing for every user, which, a lot of people use Zoom. There's no 40-minute limit on ours. You can have your own meeting rooms. So it's all included. There's no additional charge for it. We also have internal chat and along with video conferencing, you can have groups. You can have your office staff as a group. You can have your field staff. Everybody can chat back and forth. It's all included, no additional charge. And then we also have call tracking. I don't know what happened to label. You can label marketing numbers and track them. You can also determine which of your campaigns are working. Oh, let me go back up. So one of the nice things we can do is we can actually identify a call for you as it comes in. So if you have a Facebook ad, for example, we can actually name that number in the phone system. So when the call comes in, if your agent's using a computer, it'll pop up on the screen. It'll say Facebook ad or whatever you want to call it, spring termite special. It'll show up on the phone display as well. You can even have scripts and talking points. So when they get those specific campaign calls that you're spending a lot of money to get those calls, your employees can be better suited to take the call and handle it better because they're going to know where that call came from specifically. So that's part of our call tracking as well. And then we also have call center functionality. And that call center functionality is advanced call handling. So we can basically take those calls coming in any way you want us to, manage and route them any way. Like I mentioned, you can have different queues for customers. You can have different queues for different things. Real-time activity tracking. We saw a little bit of that earlier in the managing remote employees. You can track what they do. We have shareable dashboards. You can create dashboards with alerts. So if somebody's been holding a certain period of time, you'll get an alert that pops up. You can hear it, it pops up on your screen. We can record all of the calls. We can also not record some calls. If there's certain people in the organization that you don't want their calls recorded, we can certainly do that as well. Comprehensive reporting, again, it's all automated. We also have our own custom reports portal. We can actually write reports for you. If there's a very specific report you need that's not available through the phone system, then we can write it for you. And then also the queue management. We can do some really cool things. We can give your agents wrap up time. So usually when somebody hangs up the phone, they need a little bit of time to wrap up what they were doing. And sometimes they don't get it. They get a call right away or somebody talks to them. Then they end up forgetting. And when they go back to do it later, they might not get everything right. So we can give them automatic wrap up time. So they have, let's say, 30 seconds before the phone rings again. Some really cool features like that. We can do whisper where we can actually identify the call coming in to the person so they can hear it. So a lot of really nice features. And then we also have the whisper, barge, and coach capability, which allows you to listen to the call and also talk to your agent. And then if your employee is really blowing the call, you can jump right in there and say, wait a minute, that's not what we do. That's the barge part. Let me go here. Oh, we have a polling question. Do you currently have a call center or a dedicated team answering phones? And we kind of feel like, a lot of people think that when they think call center, they think like a movie with the big boiler room and all these cubicles everywhere. But really what the call center functionality is really, do you want to know what's going on with your phone calls? Do you want to know how many people are calling you? Do you want to know how your employees are doing when they answer the phone? How many calls is each employee answering? Are they answering quickly? Things like that. So that's what the call center functionality really gives you. Well, that's I think those are the exact same numbers as last time. So apparently everybody that has an internet phone system has a call center or dedicated team answering. That's pretty cool. So that's good information to have. That's a very interesting poll. Thank you guys for participating in that. But our fun, we can do all this stuff. We can give you all the functionality you want. I love the opportunity to meet with everybody a little bit later, individual, and see what we can do to help you. Click in here. So basically, to kind of wrap up, with the internet phone system, you can have more productive and happier employees. You can improve your customer experience. You can increase sales. You can reduce cancellations. You can maximize your marketing and advertising. And you can do that a lot better with our phone system. Okay. But I had to get a little plug in there. So that's basically it. Just also wanted to share with you that we're having a special for this webinar. We're offering first 2 months free, as long as you sign up by the end of October, as long as we get you installed by the end of December. Once again, thank you, thank you, thank you. We really appreciate your time. We know you have a lot of things going on. I hope this was helpful. Kristen, that's it. I guess I'm done.
All right, it looks like we've got some Q&A going. We'll pop over to that in just a minute, but thank you so much for that presentation. I appreciate it. What we're going to do with the time that we have left, if those that haven't already started submitting questions, I know Tom's in there answering some too, we'll go ahead and take some more of those. But while we're getting ready for that, I want to encourage everybody to check out our chat. Our moderator, Lynn, is going to post a link in there for you all to get a free demo of PestRoutes, as well as a link to get more information on Voice for Pest. So this is a great opportunity for you guys to really see how we work together and how each of the platforms can help your businesses. So we'll go ahead and let's see here what we've got. And like I said, I know we've got some back and forth going on right now. Call forwarding direct to cell phone if you are out of office, ? So it sounds like they're wanting to know if you can forward to your cell phone.
Yes, I think Tom answered. It says it right here. Where'd it go? I saw that one come across. Is that a different one?
Yeah, it's in the open one.
Okay, I'll answer that.
No, I did not answer that one.
Okay, I'll answer it. I got it. Yes, we can forward your calls, and I mean this in all sincerity, almost any way you could possibly want them forward. So we can forward them to you first on your cell phone, and if you don't answer, we can forward them to somebody else, then we can forward them back to you. Yes, so call forwarding to any way, shape, or form, just about multiple forwards, all kinds of things. So we can definitely do that.
Great.
The next question from Vince, the Tech Mobile solution does not work with Verizon. It is AT&T is the underlying carrier. There is an algorithm, and I think Tom answered that earlier, that kicks in if the coverage drops and it goes into a T-Mobile coverage. We are working with Verizon, and I do know that there are certain areas where Verizon is king, and we're working on that. But unfortunately, right now, it does not work with Verizon. But we'd love to give you a demo, let you try it, take it to your worst area, and see if it works. Right? Give it a shot. Let me see. Is there a ticketing system with Voice for Pest? Meaning, is there a way for Voice to Pest to get set up to have emails, alerts, text, all come in as a ticket for a customer service rep to handle? Tom, do you want to answer that question? Are you busy chatting?
No, I was. You start at the bottom. I was looking a little above that. The answer simply is yes. We do have have the capability if you wanted to bring in more of a unified communication piece that we integrate to the voice piece as well. So therefore, if it's asked correctly here, so emails and texts all come in one event. You say as a ticket. It basically comes in as a common event to be able to be shared amongst your group, and then we even integrate that into the voice side. What do you want to do if a call went into queue, for example? Have that go, maybe send an email, send a text out because they're in queue, something similar to that. Hopefully that answered that question.
Yeah, I think I did skip. Ashley Fruits, were you at the Bedbug Summit in Colorado a couple of years ago?
Tom was.
You were? Okay.
Yes.
I wasn't, but we were. Voice for Pest was. That's what counts. Yes. All right, and we have PestRoutes and Voice for Pest. We do not have a lot of these features. Is there a better package that needs to be purchased? So we do not charge for the integration. You do have to have the PestRoutes Premier API for two of the features to work. You can get the click to call and the screen pop without the premium API, no problem. If you want the auto note and the intelligent call routing, where we can identify the calls coming in, that's where you would need the premium API, and you can talk to your PestRoutes representative about that. Right.
Hey, are you good reading these? I can read them to you, but you're doing great there, Rick.
I've been reading a long time.
You're doing a good job.
Like 3 years. It all sounds amazing, and eventually I'm able to afford it all. But are there different packages, like Basin one's all bells and whistles? Yeah, we have customers with one extension, and we have customers with 1,000 extensions. So I'm sure we can make something work for you. It's very affordable, basic. And we actually, the beautiful thing about the pestro industry is, there's a lot of success stories. People work for somebody else, say, I'm going to do it on my own. They buy a truck they can't really afford, right? And then in a few years, all of a sudden they're hiring people, and then down the road, they're this pretty successful company. And we love getting in at the beginning and giving you a phone system you can grow with. So yeah, let's get you set up with one phone if that's what it's take now, and then we can celebrate in a few years when you're, when you're ordering your 10th one. So yeah, definitely want to help you out with that. They're moving along, so I don't want to skip one. In the office setting, can you put a call on hold and another person could pick it up, or do you have to transfer? No, you can do it either way you want. Most people are getting away from the what's called like a line park situation and doing transfer, but you can do that however you want to do it. We have full capability of line parking, holding, stuff like that. So we can do all of that. You have internet with Cox, but mobile with Verizon. So basically, the internet is what you would need for our phone system to work. So you would keep your Cox internet, and we would just provide you the dial tone and provide our phone system. If the mobile piece is separate, so you do not need to have Tech Mobile to have our phone system. It's an additional feature. So you would have the phone system, and Cox would be your internet provider. And then if you wanted to go with the Tech Mobile solution, then you would have to leave Verizon and come to us, because we would actually become your wireless carrier instead of Verizon, which gives you the beauty of these two things being, everything but being under one umbrella, basically. And I hope that answers the question. Dan, is your pricing based on the number of users and features? It's a subscription service. It's based on it's a subscription per user. There's a couple different tiers. You have a basic user, and then if you have the call center functionality, you have a call center agent. So that's how the pricing is based. Did I miss one? I think I missed a couple. Where are we at? As I add secretaries in other states, do you pay them as employees, or do you make them 1099 contractors? I think that's probably just a general business question. I think most companies I'm familiar with, they just make them employees. They don't do it with contractors, but that's probably a question you're going to have to talk to maybe some of your business advisors or some other pest control owners around the place that do that. Did I miss one? How much is the monthly service? Well, our basic user subscription is $29.95 a month. So if you have one user, it's going to be $29.95 a month. Of course, there's a few other charges here and there, but not a lot. And the other thing is, especially with landline systems, people are used to paying for a line, right? You don't pay for a line with an internet system. You pay for, you have a number, and we can give you as many lines as you want. And that's why in the old days you had rollover lines, right? Because if you had one line and somebody called it and you were on the phone, somebody else called that line, they got a busy signal. We can give you 10 lines per number. So you can get unlimited lines and nobody's going to ever get a busy signal. So, you don't have to have a bunch of lines. So a lot of times, especially if you have a landline system, we can reduce your cost significantly, because you're paying probably around $40 to $50 a month per line. And you really only need one or two numbers. So, but I hope that answers the question. But that's our basic user subscription, starts out at $29.95 a month. Yes, you're able to keep your phone numbers. We will port them for you. We do it all the time, all day long, twice on Sunday. So yes, absolutely keep your own numbers. We can provide you with as many numbers as you want for different things. But yeah, almost all of our customers do keep their numbers, and we port them over, and then we provide you the dial tone from there.
And that goes for the same from another internet-based phone system too?
Yeah, I mean, we almost, I can't think of the last time we had a problem porting a number, and we can almost always port them. If you have some weird little independent little phone system out in the middle of somewhere, rural phone system, and they have the monopoly on it, sometimes it's tough to get a number from them. But 99.9% of the time, we have absolutely no problem porting numbers. It's an easy thing, and we do it all the time.
Great. Did we cover these two here? The different packages for pricing here? Okay.
Yep. We have different levels. You can do basic. You can add, again, the call center functionality is an additional feature. We have our phone system, which is just packed with features, the integration, all that stuff we talked about. We have the call center functionality that you can add on. We have the Tech Mobile solution you can add on. We have an auto dialer. We have all kinds of great things you can add on, but we didn't want to, make it a Ronco, commercial. So we just want to kind of focus on the basics. And when we get the chance to talk to you guys individually, do a demo or something, then we kind of go into detail and answer your questions very specifically.
So I've got a couple more.
Okay, Pernell, what happens to calls after office hours? That totally depends on you. I mean, we can do anything you want with those calls. We can have them go to an answering service. We can have them go to another employee. They can go to voicemail. We can have them automatically at 5 o'clock p.m. and it just calls automatically, go somewhere else and automatically come back at 8. You don't even have to have somebody in the office to roll your phones. So really it's almost unlimited, what you want to happen with the calls after. Okay, hypothetical. If the office person is already on the phone with a customer and I'm at my home office and can see their phone is ringing with a new call, can I pick it up for her? Yes, you can. Absolutely. And one of the things we can do is with our system is we can actually tell as employees on the phone. So because what happens now a lot of times is somebody calls you, and a lot of companies have like a ring all, right, where just everybody's phone rings and Betty is the first one to answer and everybody listens, right? If Betty doesn't answer after a couple rings, then Bobby's supposed to answer. Well, while all that's going on, the person calling you is waiting for you to answer and they're hearing the phone ring. And with cell phones, a lot of times you hear the phone ring a couple of times before the person you're calling hears it. So while you guys are figuring all that out, the person calling you is hearing the phone ring 3 or 4 times. So what we can do is we can actually say, oh, we know that person's on the phone. So we're not even going to ring them. It's going to go straight to you, right? So you eliminate all that people sitting around waiting for you to answer the phone while you're trying to figure out whether Betty's going to do it or not, right? So yes, we can certainly do that, and we can make it much more efficient and a much better caller experience for you as well.
Great. How long does it take for people to transition over to an internet phone system?
Normally it's 3 to 5 weeks. Again, we're not going to come out there and bolt stuff on the wall, so it's a little simpler. The porting can take some time, but I'll tell you, to be honest with you, the faster we get the forms we need, which is your letter of authorization giving us the right to take your number from the existing carrier, and then the most recent phone bill, usually we can get a port date set within a couple, 3 weeks, and most installs 3 to 5 weeks. If we really got to do it faster, we can. If you're a big company, it might take a little longer, but typically 3 to 5 weeks is very, very attainable.
That's great. You got through those questions quickly. You did great.
About that. All right.
Is there anything else? If anybody else has any other questions they want to drop in, comments, we'll be happy to take them. Oh, we got another one. Right here we go. Is this billed as part of our monthly PestRoutes bill?
No, we are completely separate from Pest. We love them. They're our best friends, but we're completely separate. You're going to be our phone system company and their software customer. So we'll bill you separately. We provide support for you. Don't call us about your PestRoute software because we can't help you. And if you call them about our phone system, they're probably going to tell you the same thing. But no, we bill you separately. It's a totally separate relationship.
But just to add to that, we do completely replace what you're currently paying for your phone system or service now.
Right. What other notes or comments would you like for everybody to hear from you about, given the questions you've heard today? Is there anything that comes to mind that you want to reiterate?
Tom, did I miss anything? Is there anything that I should have said I didn't, or anything?
No, I think you're very complete. Just the main thing is, everybody's business is different. Even though you're all in the same industry, it's different, and so we like to have certainly personal conversations with each one of you and what you're doing now and how you want to be set up. And we're confident we'll be able to accommodate you.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate it. It doesn't look like we have any more questions in here. Just making sure there weren't any other final notes, but I think we're good there. And I just really appreciate you all doing this with us. I appreciate our partnership and you guys coming on to share this with our audience. We try to get as many different points of view in front of our customers as we can. But I really appreciate it, and I appreciate everybody for joining us today. We hope you found this valuable and you got some good information. We're going to have another webinar. We're looking for late October. Just keep an eye out on your inbox and your social media feeds, and we'll be sending that through. But again, I just want to thank everybody for the time and hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. We'll be having this recording wrapped up and sent out to everybody that registered here within the next week.
And thank you. Thanks for having us. And man, those are some really good questions. I've done a lot of these, and those were like the best round of questions I can remember. So thank you, everybody. I think they paid attention, which is nice. Yeah. Take care.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.